Well, we have just completed the fret dress and we're working on the compensated nut. This is another Les Paul. Had the headstock snapped right off. Sort of complete rebuild. And because it's fresh paint, I do put that foam on, or you can use a light felt liner on the neck assemblies. There is another Les Paul en route today from Ottawa. Also snapped headstock, came right off. And I'll do a more extensive video on that one. And if you look at the link below in the video, there are 12 examples of broken Les Paul headstock neck surgeries. And you know, there's many variations on a theme. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. And in all of those videos, you will see the neck surgery jig that I designed specifically for this job. So just cleaning up that residue from the compound. And I was buffing out the frets for that final sheen. And now we'll get on with the compensated nut. Now with this Les Paul, I got lucky. I didn't have to remove the pickup. It depends, you know, from one guitar to the next. The neck set on the tenon and mortise, a lot of the time, as you've seen in past videos, I've had to sort of gently remove that neck pickup and then put it in a Ziploc bag with some foam and set it aside. Not the case here. There was enough room. I just dropped it down out of the way. And now I'm ready to bring it back up, and we'll do that compensated nut. Well, even though we got kind of a locking bridge with set screws, it doesn't do us much good if the posts are wobbling like that. So we're going to take care of that first. Okay, that should do it. Much better. Yeah, that machining is pretty sloppy, so this Teflon tape tightens it up to get rid of that wiggling and jiggling. That'll do it. Ooh, that's much better. We'll wait till we get on the home stretch of the intonation before we lock those set screws. See, that tailpiece has also got the set screws. I don't know if that's a Tone Pro bridge or Gibson have just started doing that themselves. Not too sure. Didn't see any Tone Pro branding on this. Or maybe they've licensed it from Tone Pro. Who knows? Anyway, both tailpiece and bridge are locking. And these are just 10 to 46 regular strings. I am going to do a final wrap up on exactly what we did here as far as setting up the bridge, setting up the tailpiece. But before I do, we're going to do our tuning test. And if you've got a Les Paul, you can try this yourself. And this is how a fully calibrated Les Paul should tune up. And this is our tuning test. do have my little piece of foam in there to isolate the fundamental note as we go across string to string. A string. And D. Third string. Second string. And the first string. As we covered earlier in the video, we've brought that tailpiece down. Now typically I bring it down until it almost touches the body and then lift it up a little bit. And of course we lock those posts now. Nothing's budging on this guitar. But my real criteria for adjusting this height of the tailpiece is to ensure that the strings, they clear the casting on the back of the bridge. Of course the first and sixth strings are going to be first to touch because of the radius. Neither the sixth nor the first string touch the back of the bridge casting. And as you saw earlier, I wrapped both posts in Teflon. The machining is a little bit sloppy on this, so Teflon did the trick to sort of tighten them up. Of course, this bridge also has these set screws and locks to the posts. So now everything from here to here is rock solid. If you hit it with the palm of your hand, it's not going to budge. That tuning check you just saw, you could check it again a year from now, and as long as the customer sticks to the 10 to 46 strings, it'll be perfect. Next thing I wanted to mention was the actual V notches that are nicked into the bridge saddles. For the E, A, and D string, that V notch is not quite wide enough to fully accommodate the width, and you have to be very careful doing this. So I do open up that V notch with a 46 thou file so that the bottom third diameter of the string sits solid in that pocket. Same thing for the A, same thing for the D. The top three strings were fine, I didn't need to touch those. The reason I do this notching here is because it increases the strength of the fundamental note. When you see your tuner wavering, when you go to tune, you see it sort of wavering, it doesn't want to find center. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is what I just mentioned, you're not really getting the fundamental note properly because there's a V notch and the string is not bottoming out solid in the saddle. The second reason is, and this is very common, people tend to put their pickups way too close to the strings. So the next time you see your tuner wavering like that, try dropping your pickups down. I'm going to give you another view of these pickups and the distance from the underside diameter of the string to the actual posts on the pickup. So that kind of takes care of this end. Both pickups were adjusted for optimum distance. And of course we did a complete fret dress, buffed out the frets. Of course this guitar had complete neck surgery. The head was snapped right off. I got another Les Paul coming down from Ottawa that I'll be doing complete neck surgery. And I'll get into more detail on that one as far as the neck surgery and the whole procedure. I did replace this little switch tip as it got smashed when the guitar went down and the headstock was broken. Now back to the pickups again. When I go to measure the distance from the string to the pickups, I play that last fret note. That's as close as the string is ever going to get to the pickups. On both sides I check it. So the string's close enough to get a good signal on both pickups, yet not too close that the magnets disrupt the tunability. Next. So another thing I wanted to share with you is these dollar store emery boards. They're sort of a 7-step emery board. I use these to finish and polish the nut. They work beautifully. So I go through all 7 steps, and that's what I've done. So that nut is polished. It looks better than the factory nut. Just thought I'd share that with you. I buy about 10 of these. They're $1 a piece, or I don't know, $1.25 a piece. Just a very cool tip. And if you have a nut that's in place, you can tape around it, and then because this is sort of foam, there's just enough flexibility that it will distort and slur and give you a nice beautiful curvature on that outside. At a glance, from a few feet away, you would never even know this was a compensated nut. It just looks like a regular nut. Before we bring this into the studio, I just thought I'd give you one last glance. And now we can go here just how precise the calibration is on this guitar.